Okay, episode 8 is ready and waiting for you. Now in this episode, we've got an expert coach who's going to help us with some running drills and some running techniques to get you fitter and to get you faster. So let's hit the intros and get this episode started. So there has been a huge amount of racing going on, not only here in Southeast Queensland in trail running and road running, but also around the country and also globally as well. And it's been wonderful to keep across those and to try and follow the results as they come through. And if you've been involved in any of those, we hope you've had a great race. We think this episode on run technique will be really beneficial for those upcoming races that you have in the next couple of months' time. Okay, so as I said in the introduction, this episode is a great one. It's all about run technique and run drills. Now, we've got a physio on the Gold Coast called Britt Caling. She specialises in triathlon and distance running, and she's been one of the physios on the Australian Olympic team in 2012 in London, in 2016 in Rio, and she's been selected as one of the head physios for the 2020 Tokyo Games. She was also on the Commonwealth Games team as well here on the Gold Coast. Britt contacted me a couple of weeks ago and invited me along to one of her Saturday afternoon run technique sessions. Now, I've been to a few of these myself and they're absolutely fabulous. She has them on a Saturday afternoon at Pizzey Park here in Miami on the Gold Coast, and it's on the first Saturday of every month, and she goes through a number of drills and a number of technique things that you can put into your training sessions at the end of training sessions, but also on your recovery days as well. That will strengthen your legs, will strengthen your ligaments, and will also give you a better technique to make you fitter and faster and to hit those times that you're aiming for. Thanks to Britt and her team at Gold Coast Physio and Sports Health for the invitation. If you do get a chance, sign up for one of their run technique sessions on a Saturday afternoon, because not only will she go through the drills that you'll see here in this episode, but also some new ones and some extra ones as well. And that's what I love about her sessions, is that there's always something new, there's always something fresh. Once you go a couple of times, you can really see the improvement in your technique and in your ability to complete these exercises. Okay, so the first thing that Britt got the runners to do after a very short warm-up, just so she could have a bit of a look at their running technique as they came into this session, was she asked them to remove their shoes and to do this session barefoot. And I love this because this is something that I do with my younger athletes when I train them at the end of a training session or at the very beginning when we do some very light and some very easy exercises. I love the fact that we can do these barefooted. And we do this because it gives us a greater opportunity to actually make contact with the earth and to feel the ground, to feel what it's like when our foot hits the ground. We feel a real connectedness with the soil and with the grass. And as I said, it's easy to do because we're not going to be running that far. We're only doing very, very short exercises. So it's not going to be too hard on our body. It's not going to provide us with sort of strains or with fatigue the next day. Obviously, we never want to really get into barefoot running and do too much barefoot running to begin with. But these drills you can do because they're nice and easy and they're nice and simple and they're very low impact on the body. So the first take home for this is, if you get a chance, take the shoes off and go barefooted for these activities. First activity I want you to have a look at here is Britt actually asking the runners to try and feel what it's like to have a slight forward lean in their running technique. We don't want to be leaning forward from the hips, but we want our forward lean to start from our feet and our ankles. And Britt was talking, and she mentioned quite a few times to them, that if we have a very slight forward lean, we're actually using gravity as, I guess, a bit of a free ride. And this is something which Britt talked a lot about, but it's something I've heard a lot of coaches talk about as well. So she asked the runners to sort of just hop up onto the balls of their feet and just feel and rock forward into kind of a bit of a forward lean. Feel where that point is where they can hold it without overbalancing. Britt then talked to them a little bit about the importance of having stiff ankles and stiff feet. The idea behind having stiff ankles and stiff feet is that every time our foot hits the ground, we want our foot and our ankles to really spring back up off the ground, nice and hard. We don't want them to sink in and allow our body to collapse. So she did some exercises with them, and you can see those exercises here where she got them to try and have very stiff ankles and stiff feet. So we really have that coiled spring effect. When our foot hits the ground, we spring off it nice and hard. And that's why in one of our episodes when I talked about calf and Achilles exercises, I put the skipping in there with the skipping rope, because it's that same idea. Our ability to hit the ground nice and hard and spring off it really quickly. In this exercise here that you can see Britt talking about, she's demonstrating to the runners and she's talking to the runners about the ability and the importance of being able to manipulate your toes one at a time. So these exercises, they might look very simple, but they're quite hard to do at the very beginning. that toe manipulation, lifting the toes up and putting them down, lifting one toe up and putting it down, and then lifting the next toe up. Even being able to crawl our feet sideways across the ground just by using our toes and our feet and our ankles. So these are things that you can try, and I know lots of runners, when they're sitting on the couch at home, they'll often put a towel on the ground and they'll scrunch the towel up with their toes as well. They'll try and bring the towel in as close as possible. So Britt talked at length about the importance of having strong toes, the ability for our toes when they hit the ground to spread nice and strongly, to take all that strain and then to coil up and spring off again. So having good toe strength, good strength through our plantar fascia, good strength through our Achilles and our ankles and feet is absolutely crucial for when our feet hit the ground, for us to be able to spring off nice and quickly and to get more speed with each and every stride that we take. One of the things that I love about Britt's run technique sessions is that she not only focuses on what's happening from the hips down with our legs and our ankles and our feet, but she also talks to the runners about the importance of having a very good and a very comfortable and very easy arm carry, the arm swing. And when I've watched Britt race, when I've been in races with her, I've often looked at and seen how comfortable she looks from the waist up. Her arms swing very gently. There's not a huge amount of movement up there. There's no sort of swiveling of the shoulders and the hips. So she went through a number of different ideas with the runners and the positions that they should have their arm in. She talked about the arm going back a little bit, almost like you're just trying to elbow someone behind you. And she talked a little bit about with the forward part of the arm, not bringing it too far forward, but it's almost just like a series of tiny little uppercuts as it comes up towards your face and your chin. Again, not across the body too far, but just up and up in front, like a small little uppercut, and going backwards like you're just trying to elbow someone behind you. And have a look at this little bit of footage that I took here. She got the runners to try this arm swing, but doing it one-legged, which I think is great. She's working on the balance, and by doing this, she tells the runners that this is where you'll see whether the arm swing is too much and whether it's coming across the body. If you can do it single-legged, which we should do a lot of our drills single-legged, if we can do it single-legged, that means we've got a good balance and our arms are swinging right. So when you're practicing your run technique and you're doing your run drills, don't forget about what happens from the hips up, not only what happens from the hips down. So much of what we do as a runner can be improved by what we do in the upper part of our body with our arms and our shoulders and our torso. Okay, so after going through the barefooted and the arms and the stiff-legged ankles and feet and the toes and things like that, next Britt got the runners to look at their knee drive. She went through a whole series of drills here, and if you have a look at this footage, you'll see what I mean. She talked a little bit about the knee drive going up and then the foot placement. When the foot lands, it wants to land back underneath the body, not out in front. We don't want it breaking. And so the drill was all about providing a nice, straight, high knee lift and then bringing the foot down quickly underneath the body. And she did that on the spot, stationary. Then she got them to go over a whole series of high knee drills, going over the mini hurdles. Now you can see here in this kind of extension of the drill, Britt actually has the runners doing that high knee with a march. And I like here how she gets them to pause mid-stride or kind of mid-march. Again, making sure that the balance is right. Their body is nice and straight. And the one thing that Britt kept emphasizing with each and every drill is to do it slowly and to do it in a nice and controlled fashion. So as I said in the introduction, a huge thanks to Britt and the team at Gold Coast Physio and Sports Health. If you do have a chance, I really strongly recommend that you get along to one of her run technique sessions. As I said, the first Saturday at the start of every month, down at sort of Miami Burley Way at Fizzy Park. Like everything we talk about here on Wire Run TV, these are the kind of things that you can put in very, very intermittently without too much extra time to your training program. It doesn't require too much equipment. We don't have to go to the gym. We can do this while we're brushing our teeth. We can do this while we're watching TV. We can do it at the end of a training session or on recovery days. And I think that is a really big win for me. When I think about ways that I can improve as a runner, it's those tiny little extra things that you can put in that don't require too much extra time. They don't require you to go anywhere special, but you can just put them in and they'll make a bit of a difference. So thanks as always for joining us here on Wire Run TV. We really do appreciate your support. We're coming to the end of Series 3. We've got 2 more episodes to go after this. If this is the first time that you've come across us, we really hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook with a like or with a follow, then you can get these each and every week as they come out. As I said at the very beginning, there are some great races happening around the country at the moment, some big races, and I know lots of you are aiming towards your A race. So I hope your next 7 days of training goes well. I hope you're able to eat well and sleep well. We look forward to you joining us in 7 days' time for the next episode, episode 9 of Wire Run TV. Thanks for stopping by.